Solo Cup is the best receptacle for barbecues, tailgates, fairs, and festivals. And you, sir, do not have a pair of testicles if you prefer drinking from glass. Hey, Red Solo Cup is cheap and disposable. In 14 years, they are decomposable. And unlike my home, they are not foreclosable. Freddie Mac kissed my ass. Woo! Red Solo Cup.
1933 for the average American was an exciting year, for it marked the end of the Volstead Act, or American alcohol prohibition. New progressions in the beer industry associated with the end of prohibition took place, transforming the American beer culture. Beer conglomerates emerged as giants in the new competitive market, revolutionizing the industry's production concentration as well as bringing forth a new era of beer promotion. American prohibition in the 1920s had a profound effect on the market, distribution, and consumption of beer.
Americans have long been ambivalent about the role of beer in society. There was a major alteration in the significance of beer during Prohibition in the United States when the market began to concentrate on large breweries. Prohibition meant the end of many small breweries that had been profitable and that had posed a formidable challenge to large shipping breweries. For roughly its first 200 years, American brewing remained a small craft-based industry and later made the transformation to large breweries. The most important decision breweries had to make after 1920 was what to do with their plants and equipment. When Prohibition arose, breweries needed to decide whether or not they were going to still invest in their alcohol products. Doubters immediately disassociated themselves from all of the brewing equipment, often at substantial losses. Other firms decided to carry on with related products, and so stay prepared for any chance that Prohibition would end and beer would again be able to be produced in the breweries. The leading pre-Prohibition shippers began manufacturing near beer, a malt beverage with under 0.5% alcohol. Although it was not a commercial success, its production allowed these firms to keep up to date their beer-making skills. These shippers and some local breweries also manufactured malt syrup. The market called for these malt products to be sold because people were able to drink the near beers and malt syrup in place of alcoholic beverages such as beer. Most of the breweries founded after Prohibition were restarts of ones that were in operation before Prohibition.
American preferences of beer changed in favor of a single variety of taste following the Prohibition. European immigrants from England and Germany brought over many of their brewing traditions, which provided a wide range of beers to choose from. Historians have called the age prior to the Prohibition the Golden Age of lagers in America. This variety changed, however, when Prohibition was introduced. Restrictions on beer ingredients had already been put in place by 1917, so there was a 16-year period where beer was not available to the public. The result of this was that many average Americans were not able to distinguish beers anymore following Prohibition. Also during Prohibition, consumers had switched their beverage preference to soda. Breweries feared that consumers had become accustomed to the sugary taste, so upon the repeal, they modified their beer to be more carbonated, less bitter, and watered down. With canned and bottled beer popularity, as well as the invention of the refrigerator, the idea of ice-cold beer arose. This allowed big breweries to focus less on the quality of their product because in cold temperatures, beer cannot give off its full taste. These factors all came together to produce a market where big breweries fight for the market share by selling a generic brand of plain-tasting beer.
Prohibition also helped spark the marketing battle between the new large beer companies. The largest four breweries in 1935 only controlled 11% of the beer market, yet by 1982 the top four beer giants controlled over 78%, highlighting a trend that began after Prohibition's end. With taste varying at such a small margin between companies, a new competitive market emerged. The large beer companies began to concentrate their efforts on promoting their product and find the new next advertisement idea that would put their product in the average American household's fridge. Through the late 40s and early 50s, beer companies tried to solidify their beer's relationship with different commonalities of their American consumers. Beer advertisements became closely associated with sports, women, and male bonding. The large brewing companies scrambling to find association with the general public whose taste in beer has drastically changed. Advertisements of men hunting, fishing, and drinking highlight the associations between the beverage and different American cultural ideas. In Dr. Lawrence Venner's analysis of the promotion of beer, he said, where the beer can was only an afterthought before, the new competitive atmosphere of the beer market transformed it into a critical component in American culture. This new competitive market ushered in a new era of American beer drinkers who began to associate beer with catchy and well-thought advertisements and promotional pitches, rather than the actual beer and its physicality. In conclusion, Prohibition provided an important segue for the American beer industry, ushering the commodity from the large number of small independent craft breweries to the mega conglomerates that would dominate the market for decades. These effects can still be seen in the beer industry of today, an intensification of early marketing and cultural meanings from the post-Prohibition years. Sports and beer are almost synonymous nowadays, a relationship that is now deeply ingrained in American culture. But more importantly, the beer industry is now firmly based on finding the next catchy advertisement, not the next great-tasting lager.
I drink the beer from the glass, but that's boring. Das Boot, ooh ja, das more like it, keep pouring. I have the German accent, and so of course I love beer. But how much kann sie gut hold? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, Bier. Das Boot.